every single day. Great reporting, Gary.
Yeah.
So attention is now being drawn to Minnesota's voting laws. One policy outright allows registered voters to vouch for up to 8 people seeking same-day registration. But catch this, without an ID. And it goes even further. For those living in residential facilities like nursing homes, employees can vouch for an unlimited number of residents. Looking at past Minnesota elections, the amount of same-day voter registration is staggering, well, outside the margin of victory. Joining us now, conservative activist and early vote action founder, Scott Pressler. Scott, welcome to the program. You're on the ground a lot, and you love registering people to vote. But this is concerning. Not only are they doing it same day with an ID, without an ID, but they allow other people to vouch for other voters.
Yes, I want to be very clear. This is according to Minnesota state law that with vouching, no proof of residency is required. No photo or voter ID is required. If we were all living in the same neighborhood, I could vouch for you, Lawrence, and say, I know Lawrence, I know Will Kane, and just simply my vouching and you guys signing an oath declaring that you are following the law, you will be handed 2 ballots and you will be able to vote. And if I have 6 other friends that I vouch for, my one registered voter in Minnesota could get 8 voters. Now, what's even more concerning, and you just said this earlier, is that if I were an employee at a residential facility, according to state law, I could vouch for unlimited voters by simply showing proof of being an employee at the residential facility. And so thanks to Nick Shirley, we are now exposing potential fraud when it comes to our election system.
So, Scott, if we can't trust Minnesota to verify the businesses with billions of dollars, how can we trust them to verify if these people are actual residents of the state?
Correct. Well, that's why investigative journalism is so important. And I really want to break this down for a second, Lawrence, because a viewer at home might say, okay, what if 8 people are vouched? Could that actually impact a state election? Let's go back to 2008 for a second. Did you know that in 2008, 500,000 voters, or nearly 19% of all voters in Minnesota, registered on election day? And did you know that former Senator Al Franken was elected by 312 votes? So I'm not alleging anything on the program, but what I am saying is that this vouching system, which clearly opens the door for potential fraud, could swing statewide elections. And when you find out that Al Franken was the 60th vote for the Affordable Care Act, these voter fraud insecurities could open the door to very real consequences. And I have breaking news that I have filed an email with the Minnesota Secretary of State, and I have submitted a data practices request to get the data of registrants, of people that vouched, and how many of those 500,000 voters actually came about because of vouching, and that's breaking news.
It is unbelievable. A little bit of more breaking news, Scott. David, the man who went to visit those daycare centers with Nick Shirley, says he has now filed a criminal complaint against Governor Walz moments ago. Let's watch it.
I filed a formal criminal complaint against Tim Walz for violating Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9.
When did you do that?
3 or 4 weeks ago. Recently.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's an investigation ongoing, and I think Tim's going to have a bad day, and he deserves it because he allowed this fraud, because he wanted the voting block that the Somalis represent, because they all vote in a block, and it's 100,000, 150,000, who knows how many. But it's so bad now that when we go to a facility, they're already screaming, Nick Shirley, Nick Shirley, Nick Shirley.
Unbelievable. Final reaction, Scott.
Tim also was saying that Minnesota is the number 2 state to retire in. I think that we're finding out that Minnesota is the number 1 state for fraud and the number 1 state for leering. And I just want everyone to know that we are going to be like a dog on a bone, and we are not going to let this go, and we're going to fight for the American people.
Yeah, I want people to go to jail, and I want the money back as well. Wherever it leads,
Amen.
They should go after it. Scott, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lawrence.
So coming up...